Hello and welcome to a new tournament, the Dominion Online Championship 2024, hosted by Shuffle It. This is a single elimination tournament that started with a bit less than 256 players. You are paired at the start of the tournament, and the player that gets the 3.5 wins first progresses to the next round. The player that doesn't is eliminated from the tournament. I entered this tournament to provide you with more Rising Sun content. In the first round, I had a kingdom which had a new card and a new mechanic from Rising Sun. The new card is Fishmonger, which gives you +1 buy, +1 coin, and only costs 2. The new mechanic is the Shadow mechanic. Shadow cards sit at the bottom of the deck anytime you shuffle your deck, and you can play a shadow card from the bottom of your deck at any time, provided you have the actions to do so. There are distinct advantages to this shadow mechanic that we will explore as we progress through this game. Let's have a look at the kingdom now. We have plus actions from Festival. We have draw from Figurine, Governor, Magnate, and Den of Sin. We have gain from Swap in this kingdom. We have plus buy from Festival, Figurine, and Fishmonger. And we have some trashing from Governor, from Secluded Shrine, and from Enhance. As with most Governor games, Governor is the focal point of the deck. Governor provides draw, Governor gains you gold, and then you can then remodel that gold with the Governor into a province, or alternatively in this kingdom you can use Enhance to turn those golds into province. Let's see how we build this Governor deck, and let's see how the Shadow mechanic via the Fishmonger helps us in this kingdom. My opponent starts with a Secluded Shrine. I understand the Secluded Shrine. I will also open with a Secluded Shrine. It is a slow trasher, but it is one of the better ways to thin your deck in this kingdom. Particularly, I would like to have the estates out of the deck more than the coppers, given that Magnate is in the kingdom. My opponent pairs their Secluded Shrine with a Poacher, and I will do the same. I follow because I believe the combination of Poacher and Secluded Shrine will get me to 5 on my first shuffle. Identical opens. Let's see how the first shuffle plays out. My opponent is able to trash 2 estates with their Secluded Shrine. That is an excellent return for them. I am also able to trash 2 estates after buying a silver with my Secluded Shrine in play. Turn 4, my opponent gets to 5. This is an excellent shuffle for them. Let's see what 5 they choose to buy. They get a Festival here. I was not expecting the Festival. I was expecting either Governor or Den of Sin, but the Festival is reasonable. It may signal that they want to build Festival Magnate first before gaining Governors. I miss 5, unfortunately. Instead of getting a 5 or a 4, like another Poacher or a Secret Passage, I will enhance my copper into a Fishmonger here. I choose to do that to thin one more card from the deck. Also, this is the first advantage of the Shadow mechanic. There is no chance of terminal collision with Shadow cards. The Fishmonger I know sits at the bottom of the deck. If I don't see the Secluded Shrine in my hand, I can call the Fishmonger and play it from the bottom of the deck, and then later on in the shuffle I can play the Secluded Shrine. It's perfectly safe to have that Fishmonger in the deck. Alright, over to my opponent. Poacher comes out for them. I expect that they'll hit 5 from now on because they've managed to trash 2 estates and they've put a silver in the deck as well as a Festival. Here, it seems like they opt to trash another estate. They trash the last estate and a copper by buying a silver. So their Secluded Shrine is doing good work for them. I also play my Secluded Shrine here, but I am not going to buy a silver just to trash 2 copper. I think the 5 is much more valuable than the silver in the deck. And my 5 of choice is not Governor, is not Den of Sin, it is actually a swap. I don't like Secluded Shrine in the deck. I can swap that for a 5 cost like Governor or Festival or Magnate, depending on my hand. Swap is very, very flexible. And it is easy to get Fishmongers in the deck. Those are cheap cards. They can be swapped away into more expensive cards very easily. Back to my opponent now. Their festival comes down and they buy a gold. Now this was a bit strange to me, especially without the secluded shrine in play. I was expecting one of the 5 costs for sure, but they go for a gold instead. So alright, fine. So here I draw into the Fishmonger, so I don't get to use the shadow effect where I get to play it from the bottom of the deck. I drew it into my hand and then I have to play it from my hand, which is not optimal at all. You never want to play shadow cards from your hand. You want to always play them from the bottom of the deck. But I needed to do it like this in order to get to 5. Otherwise, I would just get to 4. 5 is much better than 4 in this kingdom. And on 5, I go for a Den of Sin. I will explain the Den of Sin. Recently, I have been on a trend with Governor games to delay buying Governor as much as possible and instead trying to build up the draw through the other pieces in the kingdom. So for now, I'm trying to build up draw with Den of Sin, and maybe I'll add a Festival and a Magnate later. I don't like to give my opponent cards with the Governor. That is definitely the worst part of Governor. Sometimes you have to do it. If you have to do it, you have to do it. The much better parts of Governor is gaining a gold for yourself and then trashing the gold into province. My ideal deck with Governor looks like I have other pieces that draw me into my Governors, and then I use the Governors to either gain gold or trash gold. It's a bit of an experiment. It has not worked out very well for me so far, but I'm persistent with it. Den of Sin goes into play. I'll draw 2 cards on my next turn. Turn 7 for my opponent. They get a Magnate. That goes well with their Festival and the lack of estates in their deck too. 2 cards draws me into the swap on the Poacher. The Poacher really isn't doing much for me here. I don't need it to get to 5 anymore. So I will switch that out for a Governor this time. And I choose to gain a gold. I have the Shrine in play. So now I get to trash my estate and another copper from the deck. And it looks like I have 4. I don't. I have 5 because I pull the Fishmonger out from the bottom of the deck. This is the other advantage to the shadow mechanic. The shadow mechanic does not use any resources from your hand. I had 4 cards in hand, 4 copper, but I was able to hit 5 because that Fishmonger came from the bottom of the deck. You can think of Fishmonger as a sort of market variant. It already has the coin and the buy. Market, when played from your hand, you go down to 4 cards in hand, but Market replenishes your hand by giving you the extra card because it says +1 card, +1 action, +1 buy, +1 coin. So you start with 5 cards if you have a Market in hand, play the Market, you still have 5 cards in hand, but now you have a little extra bonuses. You get back your action, you get back a coin, a buy, and you replenish your hand size. This is similar to the shadow mechanic. Market does not use any resources from your hand. In the same or in a similar way, Fishmonger does not use resources from your hand. This is an important feature. It is as though +1 card is written on the Fishmonger. It's not exactly like that, but if it helps you to understand the benefits of shadow cards and their ability to be pulled at any time from the bottom of the deck, then by all means understand it like that. It turned a $4 hand into a $5 hand, a 5 coin hand. In this kingdom, that is extremely valuable. I go for another Den of Sin to supplement my draw even further. The Den of Sin is much easier to buy than a Festival and then a Magnate. You get the cards right away, and then you don't need to buy a Festival now and then a Magnate later and hope that they come together. Den of Sin is much simpler than that. Much quicker delivery. That's why I went for them first instead of Festival and Magnate. 9 and 2 buys for my opponent. They go for a Den of Sin now and another Poacher. They are putting together bigger turns here. Here's my Governor. I will trash this silver out. Again, I do not need it to get to 5. I get a Festival here. Buys will be important. My opponent trashes a copper. And I call, not call, but I play the Fishmonger from the bottom of the deck using the shadow mechanic turns a $6 hand with no buy into a 7 coin hand with 2 buys. That means I can get another Fishmonger. Again, there's no terminal collision because they all sit at the bottom of the deck. And the 5 here can be a Den of Sin, it can be another Governor. I go for another Governor. Play my other Den of Sin here. Poacher for my opponent. Here is the Secluded Shrine. No extra buys for them. I thought they might consider Province. They go for a gold to keep trashing coppers from their deck. I think that is a little bit excessive. I've stopped trashing the coppers, as you've noticed. I switch my Secluded Shrine even into a Governor. I draw because I have to draw there. The hand is garbage otherwise. And here I stop because I find 2 Governors. I gain 2 gold. And it's not done yet. Don't forget about the shadow cards. Festival lets me play both Fishmongers from the bottom of the deck. I was able to go up to 11 and 4 buys. Importantly, 10 and 2 buys. Without the Fishmongers, I would not have 10 and 2 buys here. I get a Magnate and I get another Governor. And I'm going to put my Den of Sin into play. I'm looking very, very good from this position. The Fishmongers are genuinely helpful cards, thanks to the shadow mechanic. Without the shadow mechanic, Fishmonger is garbage. Never buy Fishmonger unless it's the only source of plus buy in the kingdom. But with the shadow mechanic, it is a lot better than it seems. 12 and 2 buys for my opponent. 13 and 2 buys for my opponent. The Secluded Shrine is in play. They may be considering another trash with the Secluded Shrine. There's our gold. And they get rid of 2 more coppers. 7 left over is enough for a Governor. Den of Sin goes into play. I would really like to find my Festival here. I do not find it, so I draw twice with Governors. I finally find the Festival here. Now I can play the Magnate, draw everything up. This Governor gains a gold swap, draws me into the gold, and switches out the Fishmonger now, which was so cheap to buy, for another Governor. I still have 1 Fishmonger, so I use that for the extra buy, and I am ready to go green here. I have a hand in which I can triple enhance into triple province. That is very strong. That is an extremely strong play, and I probably can end the game in a couple turns here. I don't think my opponent is ready to do anything like that. They have 1 Governor, I believe, and 1 extra buy from the Festival. They can probably do 3 provinces themselves if they have everything. They have quite a big hand here. I helped them. I gave them 2 extra cards. This is why I don't like to give people extra cards. I consider trashing here off the Governor. Incorrect. Keep the copper in hand. That is extra money. And when you find your Magnate, that is extra draw. Do not get rid of the copper this late into the game. The time for trashing is far gone. Secluded Shrine for my opponent to finish the action phase. Let's see if they get up to 16. I'm expecting 16 here, or some way in which to get 2 provinces. There's 14 and 2 buys. It looks like an enhance and a regular province buy. So they enhance a gold and then they buy a province the regular way. Governor to draw, Governor to draw. Where is the Festival? Okay, thank you. So I don't have to use any more Governors for draw. The Magnate will get through the rest of the deck. And I swap away the final Fishmonger for Governor to triple gain province via triple trashing gold for the win. Comfortable win in the end. However, don't focus on the Governor part of the game. That is stock by this point. Focus on the impact of Fishmonger and how you can leverage it, and especially consider the shadow mechanic. We finished this match 4-0 and we progressed to the next round. Thank you for watching.